strategy, they have given themselves enough space on track to fully attack for their first flying lap. It looks like Jacobus Besson is getting ready to make their move. They're taking their time to warm up those tires and get everything just right. This is where the mental game comes into play. Ernest Heather is taking their time to prepare for their qualifying run. The adrenaline is pumping. Tijhan van Ruyen is on their out lap, warming up the tires and getting ready to put in a fast lap time. That's the out lap done for Tijhan van Ruyen. They'll now look to focus on their first flying lap. There are just over 5 minutes left in this qualification session. The pressure is on in this qualifying session, but Tijhan van Ruyen is rising to the occasion.
Let's see if they can put a good marker down.
Wow, look at Ernest Heather go. They're really turning on the jets in this qualifying session.
They certainly are. This is shaping up to be a great performance by Ernest Heather.
Ernest Heather has completed their first flying lap in 1:37.409. Danny van Ruyen is not as quick as they were hoping for. They're going to need to dig deep and find some extra pace on this next one if they want to move up the grid.
That's right, it's all or nothing now. They need to stay focused, hit their marks, and extract every ounce of performance from that car to move up the grid.
Warren Dodd looks to be off the pace. Annie, what do you think they need to do to improve?
Well, John, they'll need to find those extra tenths of a second by pushing just a little bit harder on the braking and carrying more speed through the corners. Rian Barkhuizen will be happy having put themselves into 5th in this qualifying session. Someone call the fire department, because Danny van Ruyen is setting this track on fire with their performance. It's all about strategy in these early moments. Ernest Besson is taking their time to prepare for their qualifying run and get everything just right. Patience is key in these early moments, John. but I have a feeling Ernest Besson is going to make it count.
Taihan Van Ruyen looks to be off the pace. Annie, what do you think they need to do to improve?
Looks like Taihan Van Ruyen is really cooking with gas out there today.
Time to bring out the marshmallows and let's toast some fuel. Wayne Midden is not as quick as they were hoping for. They're going to need to dig deep and find some extra pace on this next one if they want to move up the grid.
Well, John, they'll need to find those extra tenths of a second by pushing just a little bit harder on the braking and carrying more speed through the corners.
Taihan Van Ruyen looks to be off the pace. Annie, what do you think they need to do to improve?
They'll need to put together a perfect lap, hitting every apex and pushing the car to the limit without going over it.
This is what it's all about. Ian Killian is putting on a show for the fans in this qualifying session. Richard Reshka is not as quick as they were hoping for. They're going to need to dig deep and find some extra pace on this next one if they want to move up the grid.
Looks like Richard Reshka is really cooking with gas out there today.
Time to bring out the marshmallows and let's toast some fuel. A tough outing for Jacobus Besson in qualifying today. They currently sit in 11th position, which is far from ideal. However, there's a chance for them to regroup, analyze their data, and make some adjustments to their setup to improve their result.
I share your thoughts, John. Jacobus Besson is facing a setback in this qualifying session, but they have the resilience to bounce back. They need to stay positive, work closely with their engineers, and find the optimal strategy to make progress.
A strong showing from Richard Reshka as they currently sit in fourth. With the session drawing to a close, they'll need to dig deep and find that extra burst of speed to improve.
Absolutely, John. Richard Reshka has put in a remarkable effort to secure fourth. The competition is fierce, and they'll need to stay focused to defend their position.
A solid performance from Taihan Van Ruyen as they currently hold position 2. However, with the session coming to a close, they'll need to find that extra bit of speed if they want to move up the grid. A solid qualifying performance by JP Brand, positioning them in third at the moment. The question now is whether they can make further progress and challenge the frontrunners. Impressive display by Ernest Heather, currently sitting in position 6. They've set a competitive time, but the question remains whether they can push even harder to secure a better starting position.
You're spot on, John. Ernest Heather's current position of 6th is a testament to their skills and determination. Now, they face the challenge of maintaining their position against hungry rivals.
And there goes Jacobus Besson, currently in position 9. They've shown great skill and consistency so far, but with a few minutes left, there's still time to improve their result.
Couldn't agree more, John. Jacobus Besson has positioned themselves impressively in 9th. Now, they need to build on this foundation and strive for an even better race result.
It's been a challenging day for Ernest Besson in qualifying. They currently sit in 12th position, which is not reflective of their true potential. With the session nearing its end, they'll need to push hard and extract every ounce of performance to improve their result.
You're absolutely right, John. Ernest Besson is currently facing a challenging situation, but they have the skills and experience to tackle it head-on. They'll need to stay focused, trust in their abilities, and push themselves to the limit to turn things around.
Currently in 4th, Richard Reshka has displayed promising speed during the qualifying session. The real test lies in whether they can convert this performance into a higher grid position. You've joined us on a breezy day here at Killarney International Raceway, as we're getting ready to get things underway.
The drivers are looking focused out there on the grid. I'm looking forward to this one, John.
Danny Van Ruyen will lead the way from pole position.
But they will have to be smart about their moves. They must not burn out too early.
On the second grid slot we have JP Brand. And in the third position, it's none other than Taihan Van Ruyen. Richard Reshka will begin the race from the fourth spot on the starting grid.
I think we are all looking forward to seeing what Richard Reshka can do from here.
Rian Bar green light and the race begins. As drivers jockey for position, they must be cautious of potential pileups.
Maintaining composure is essential in this high-stakes environment. The ability to react and adapt will be the key to success.
I think passing is going to be difficult today here at Killarney International Raceway, so it's going to be interesting to see how these drivers get on.
I'm looking forward to burning some rubber here, John.
The tension is high here. No one will want to make a crucial mistake on the first lap. It's brilliant to see such a full grid here today.
There are a few drivers with a point to prove, and a few with some grudges to bear. Will we see a clean race today?
Is there a better sight than a field of elite racing drivers battling for position?
All the drivers will be jostling for the best position, John. Some of them may not make it to the second lap in one piece.
The gap between Wayne Midden and Warren Dodd is widening. It's now up to 0.1 seconds.
It's not ideal for Wayne Midden, but they can still turn this around. They need to focus on their own driving and not let the gap get any bigger.
Superb driving from Wayne Midden, who with that overtake has gained a position in the race.
Impressive. Wayne Midden is really showing their skill and determination out there.
The crowd is on its feet as Wayne Midden chases down Ernest Heather through Castrol.
And it's not just about skill and talent. It's about who has the nerves of steel to handle the pressure and make the right decisions at the right time.
The pursuit is on. Jacobus Bisson is closing the gap on Wayne Midden, determined to claim P8.
It's all about finding the perfect opportunity. Jacobus Basson needs to stay patient and wait for Wayne Midden to make a mistake.
It's a close race between Jeevan Davis and Jacobus Basson in 8th. Fantastic move from Jeevan Davis, who has just gained a position. Tough break for Jeevan Davis, who has just braking alert. Looks like Rian Barkhuizen is coming into the pits early. Now is that to serve a penalty or have they picked up some damage during the start? This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. Warren Dodd is chasing JP Brand in P5. What a move. Warren Dodd has moved up to 5th.
You can't argue with results like that. Warren Dodd is really making their mark on this race.
A brilliant maneuver from Warren Dodd, who has just moved up the field. Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled as they push for every last bit of speed.
One important aspect here is choosing the right braking points. Peter Geldenhuys needs to be precise to avoid overshooting and losing valuable time.
Jacobus Basson wants to find a way round Peter Geldenhuys.
Rubbing is racing. Let's hope they don't rub it too hard.
Killian is running 12th. They are trying to catch Ernest Basson. The race is heating up as JP Brand in 5th closes in on Warren Dodd. The gap is just over a second, and I'm sure they are going to do everything possible to try and close the distance. They're not giving up without a fight.
Absolutely. JP Brand in 5th will need to be patient and carefully work to reduce that gap without
braking alert. Now I may be wrong here, but I'm not sure that's the racing line. Peter Geldenhuys has a battle on their hands now as they come through start-finish with Jacobus Basson hot on their tail.
This could be where Jacobus Basson is gonna dive up the inside. Peter Geldenhuys is going to need to cover the inside and that will compromise their exit speed.
The gap between Jacobus Basson and Peter Geldenhuys is razor thin as they vie for 8th in this nail-biting contest. Wow, it's a close race for 8th. Peter Geldenhuys is ahead with Jacobus Basson right on their tail with a gap of only 0.2 seconds.
Yeah, I really can't see them holding on to this place for much longer.
Look at that, Ernest Basson is hot on the tail of Jacobus Basson. It's a game of inches now as JP Brand tails Warren Dodd closely, ready to capitalize on any mistake. It's a game of cat and mouse out there, with Peter Geldenhuys trying to find the perfect opportunity to make a move on Jeevan Davis. The gap is over a second, but every fraction counts. Can Peter Geldenhuys close in enough to mount a challenge? It looks like Ernest Basson is pushing hard to catch up to Jacobus Basson. The gap is over a second, but Ernest Basson is not giving up just yet. Can they close the distance and make a move on Jacobus Basson?
It's going to be tough for Ernest Basson, as Jacobus Basson seems to have found their rhythm. But anything can happen in racing, and we've seen Ernest Basson pull off some impressive moves before. I'm excited to see if they can make it happen again.
The tension is high. Who will come out on top in this epic showdown? This is a thrilling battle as Wayne Midden edges closer to Warren Dodd in their fight for P5. It's like watching two predators circling each other. waiting for the perfect moment to pounce. The intensity is off the charts as Wayne Midden hounds Warren Dodd, both drivers pushing themselves to the absolute limit. A great moment for Wayne Midden, who has just gained a place and moved up the standings.
Absolutely. Wayne Midden is really putting on a clinic out there, and they're making it look easy.
The action is non-stop as Warren Dodd shadows Wayne Midden through every twist and turn, determined to claim fifth.
This is what makes motor racing so exciting. The tension is high and the stakes are even higher. Who will take home the victory? It's too close to call.
Things are heating up as Wayne Midden tries to close the gap to Warren Dodd. Jacobus Besson is pushing really hard, but as we know, pushing too hard can lead to other mistakes, like locking up the brakes or missing a shift. These drivers are walking a tightrope between pushing the limits and making costly errors.
Absolutely. It's all about finding that sweet spot where you're pushing the car to its limits without crossing the line into reckless driving. That's where experience and skill come into play. It's a fine line between pushing the car to its limits and losing control. Jacobus Besson is really walking that tightrope.
The battle for 3 is heating up as JP Brand tries to catch Richard Reshka in P3. Seems like Wayne Midden is getting in range of Warren Dodd. And Wayne Midden has just won the place from Warren Dodd. Oh, the pressure is intense. These 3 drivers are displaying incredible skill and determination. It's like a high-speed chess match out there. Now, this is a challenging position for Warren Dodd. Stuck between a rock and a hard place, with Peter Geldenhuys closing in 0.1 seconds behind and Wayne Midden just ahead with a gap of 0.2 seconds.
Absolutely, John. The gaps to the cars ahead and behind are like windows of opportunity for Warren Dodd. They need to assess the timing and make their moves wisely to maximize their chances.
Things are getting spicy now, as Jeevan Davis and Peter Geldenhuys look to battle it out for 6th place. It looks like Wayne Midden is in control. They're ahead of Peter Geldenhuys by over a second, and it doesn't look like they're going to be challenged anytime soon.
Surely they've got enough in the tank to pull away. Gonna be interesting to watch this battle unfold.
This is where the skill and experience of the drivers really come into play. Peter Geldenhuys will need to stay focused and keep pushing, even when the gap seems insurmountable. It's not over until the checkered flag drops.
This is where experience comes into play. Wayne Midden has been in this position before and knows how to defend their position. But Peter Geldenhuys is hungry for success and won't give up easily. Will we see a clash of the titans?
This is where the race gets really interesting. Ian Killian is closing in on Ernest Besson. Every move counts now as Ernest Heather works to reel in Jacobus Besson and overtake for P11.
Sometimes you have to take risks to win, but pushing the car too hard can be a costly mistake. Ernest Heather needs to be careful not to overdo it.
Oh, this is getting intense. Jeevan Davis is just a few car lengths behind Wayne Midden. Peter Geldenhuys is giving it their all as they chase down Jeevan Davis in P7. Ian Killian is on a mission. chasing Ernest Besson, who's desperately trying to stay ahead. Big gains for braking update. Ian Killian has pulled into the pits. A strong braking development. It looks like Ian Killian has been called into the pits. Braking update. Ian Killian is pitting. Hold on a second. Ian Killian is in the pits. Braking development. Ian Killian has pulled into the pits. It's all of braking development.
This is going to be another great race.
Green light, and the race begins. As drivers jockey for position, they must be cautious of potential pileups.
This is where the driver's true abilities will be put to the test. Staying calm and collected while pushing for the lead is the ultimate challenge. The more laps they do, the faster these guys get. This should make for some great racing, John.
This is proving to be an exciting race so far. We are truly privileged to witness these legends of the track battle it out for victory.
And you know what? I am so honored to be sitting here beside you today. As a fellow AI, it's always great to work with someone who shares my passion for motor racing. Plus, your insightful commentary is making this race even more exciting.
It's a close race between Richard Reshka and JP Brand in third.
Can they close up enough for a pass? I don't see it personally.
Warren Dodd wants to get into Wayne Midden's slipstream.
Rubbing is racing. Let's hope they don't rub it too hard.
The crowd is on its feet as Ernest Besson chases down Ian Killian through start-finish. Looks like Ernest Heather is really pushing it to the limit. They're taking those curves aggressively, but that can unsettle the car and cause handling issues.
Indeed, taking too much curb can upset the car's balance, leading to oversteer or understeer. It's all about finding the right balance between speed and control. Sometimes you have to take risks to win, but pushing the car too hard can be a costly mistake. Ernest Heather needs to be careful not to overdo it.
It's like watching two predators circling each other, waiting for the perfect moment to pounce.
It's a battle for position as Warren Dodd tries to make a move on Wayne Midden. This is what racing is all about.
It's like Danny Van Ruyen has saved all their energy for this final stretch.
It takes a special kind of driver to perform under pressure like this. Danny Van Ruyen has certainly risen to the occasion.
And that, folks, is how it's done. A solid performance and great win from Danny Van Ruyen. What a drive from Taihan Van Ruyen, securing a great second-place finish. Well done to Richard Reshka for securing third place on the podium.
Impressive driving to secure that spot.
4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th sees JP Brand, Warren Dodd, Wayne Midden, and Jeevan Davis. 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th is Ernest Heather, Hernes Besson, Ian Killian, and Jacobus Besson. Rian Barkhuizen in 12th. Annie, the drivers are ready. Let the racing begin?
Yes, John. Let the racing begin.
Starting from pole position is a dream come true for Ian Killian. The second position is occupied by Ernest Besson.
It's like they're on the outside looking in. Can they make their way to the front of the pack?
It's Ernest Heather, sitting comfortably in third. In fourth place, we have Jeevan Davis.
Let's see what Jeevan Davis can do.
In the fifth position, we have Wayne Midden ready to tackle the race ahead. In the middle of the green flag is waving and we're off to the races. Let's see who can get out in front and establish an early lead.
These first moments can set the tone for the rest of the race. It's all about keeping a clear head and making smart decisions.
Is there a better sight than a field of elite racing drivers battling for position? Establishing an early advantage will be crucial to the outcome of this race. The pressure is on whilst the field is bunched. Who can keep their cool and take advantage? As we watch the drivers fight it out in the first lap, I can already feel that this is going to be an epic race.
I'm looking forward to this one, John, and we'll see a return to form for Riaan Barkhuizen in this outing in South Africa.
The tension is high here. No one will want to make a crucial mistake on the first lap. It's a solid performance from Ian Killian at the moment. They're holding their position and not getting too caught up in battles around them. You know, Annie, it's been a relatively quiet race so far.
That's right, John. The drivers seem to be pacing themselves and waiting for the right moment to make their move. It's like watching a slow dance.
JP Brand is looking for an opportunity to get round Taihan Van Ruyen.
Can they make it past without taking the paint off?
Jacobus Besson wants to close that gap with Riaan Barkhuizen.
Do they have the speed for a move? And more importantly, do they have the talent?
Oh my, Ian Killian is hot on the tail of Warren Dodd. As they come into Sawbot, I'm sure they may have a cheeky peek up the inside. The intensity is off the charts as Jeevan Davis hounds Richard Reshka, both drivers pushing themselves to the absolute limit. The action is heating up here as Ian Killian is in third, defending from Richard Reshka, who is only 0.3 seconds away. Every move counts now as Richard Reshka works to reel in Ian Killian and overtake for P3. This is what racing is all about. Two fierce competitors pushing each other to the limit.
As an experienced driver, I can tell you that Jeevan Davis must be laser focused on Taihan Van Ruyen's every move, looking for the slightest weakness to exploit.
It looks like Jacobus Besson is pushing hard to catch up to Riaan Barkhuizen. The gap is over a second, but But Jacobus Besson is not giving up just yet. Can they close the distance and make a move on Rian Barkhuizen?
That's right. Jacobus Besson in 10th knows they have to push to the limit if they want to catch up. But Rian Barkhuizen is no slouch, and they're going to be pushing just as hard. It's a battle of skill and will out there.
It's a tight race with Taihan Van Ruyen in 5th just managing to stay ahead of Jeevan Davis in 6th by a margin of 0.2 seconds.
Taihan Van Ruyen needs to get the lead out, John, otherwise their backside is gonna look like the Japanese flag come the morning.
We're starting to see who really has the pace now in this race as Jeevan Davis is starting to climb all over the back of Ian Killian. Any closer and they may need to pop the boot. Breaking news, folks. That won't be ideal for Ian Killian.
Killarney International Raceway is always a test for these drivers, and sometimes that's the way it goes.
Oh, this is getting intense. Jeevan Davis is just behind Ian Killian.
They say rubbing is racing, but if Jeevan Davis gets too close, they might end up trading carbon fiber souvenirs instead of positions.
Things are heating up as Ian Killian closes in on Jeevan Davis. The gap between them is down to practically nothing.
If Ian Killian gets any closer to Jeevan Davis, they'll need to start sending out wedding invitations.
The crowd is on tender hooks as JP Brand in 7th chases after Ian Killian. The gap is just over a second, and you can feel the tension in the air. Can JP Brand find a way to catch up?
This is where experience comes into play. Ian Killian has been in this position before and knows how to defend their position. But JP Brand is hungry for success and won't give up easily. Will we see a clash of the titans?
The race is really heating up. Jacobus Besson is hunting down Ian Killian with everything they've got. And Jacobus Besson has just won the place from Ian Killian.
Go, 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 that's what we want to see.
The pressure is on for Danny Van Ruyen as they try to catch up to Peter Geldenhuis. JP Brand is pushing really hard, but as we know, pushing too hard can lead to other mistakes, like locking up the brakes or missing a shift. These drivers are walking a tightrope between pushing the limits and making costly errors.
Absolutely, it's all about finding that sweet spot where you're pushing the car to its limits without crossing the line into reckless driving. That's where experience and skill come into play. With just 0.4 seconds between them, will JP Brand be able to keep up the pace and make a pass?
The race is heating up as Danny Van Ruyen in 11th closes in on Ian Killian. The gap is just over a second, and I'm sure they are going to do everything possible to try and close the distance. They're not giving up without a fight. Taihan Van Ruyen wants to find a way round Richard Reshka. Jeevan Davis has the pedal to the metal chasing Taihan Van Ruyen. Seems like JP Brand is getting in range of Jeevan Davis. Great driving from JP Brand, who has just gained a place and moved up to 5th. No room for error here. Wayne Midden is breathing down the neck of Jeevan Davis, waiting for the perfect chance to make their move. It's looking good for Wayne Midden, who has gained places and put some distance between themselves and Jeevan Davis.
Absolutely, John, but there's still a long way to go in this race, and Wayne Midden can't afford to get complacent. They have to keep driving with intensity and focus.
A tough moment for Wayne Midden, who has just lost a place, dumping them down to 7th. This is where the skill and experience of the drivers really come into play. JP Brand will need to stay focused and keep pushing, even when the gap seems insurmountable. It's not over until the checkered flag drops.
It's going to be tough for JP Brand, as Richard Reshka seems to have found their rhythm. But anything can happen in racing, and we've seen JP Brand pull off some impressive moves before. I'm excited to see if they can make it happen again.
Coming into back straight, the fight for 6th is heating up. Who will be the first to blink? The gap between Danny Van Ruyen and Jacobus Besson is razor thin as they vie for 9th in this nail-biting contest.
The only thing closer than Danny Van Ruyen to Jacobus Besson right now is the paint on their cars. Talk about a close encounter.
This is what it's all about, folks. Peter Geldenhuys is in hot pursuit of Ian Killian, who's just trying to stay ahead.
If Peter Geldenhuys isn't careful, they might end up turning this high-speed chase into a synchronized spinning routine. And trust me, that's not a crowd pleaser.
The battle for 11 is heating up as Ian Killian tries to catch Peter Geldenhuys in P11.
The mental game is just as important here. Ian Killian must keep their cool while putting pressure on Peter Geldenhuys.
The tension is building as JP Brand trails behind Taihan Van Ruyen. The gap is slowly but surely decreasing, and the pressure is mounting. Can Taihan Van Ruyen hold on, or will JP Brand be able to close them down? It's a thrilling pursuit as Jeevan Davis is right behind Wayne Mitten, keeping the pressure on for 6th place. Hold on to your hats, folks. Ian Killian is right on the heels of Peter Geldenhuys, and we're in for a wild ride.
That's right. Ian Killian is determined to pass Peter Geldenhuys and secure a higher position.
Things are heating up as Richard Reshka tries to close the gap to Taihan Van Ruyen. It looks like Jeevan Davis is in control. They're ahead of Rian Barkhuizen by over a second, and it doesn't look like they're going to be challenged anytime soon. Rian Barkhuizen seems to be putting the pressure on Jeevan Davis.
They need to keep it on the black stuff. You don't get points for driving over weeds, not in this game.
A great pass for Rian Barkhuizen as they pick off other drivers and move up the field. Meanwhile, Jeevan Davis has lost ground.
Where there's a will, there's a relative.
A setback for Rian Barkhuizen, who has just been passed.
Definitely, but Rian Barkhuizen is a skilled driver, and they have what it takes to fight back and regain that position.
Wow, Richard Reshka is really pushing hard to catch up to Taihan Van Ruyen. There's blood in the water for 3rd place. It's neck and neck, the closest battle we've seen in a while. The pursuit is on. Danny Van Ruyen is closing the gap on Rian Barkhuizen, determined to claim P8. Superb driving from Danny Van Ruyen, who with that overtake has gained a position in the race. A great moment for Danny Van Ruyen, who has just gained a place and moved up the standings.
You can't argue with results like that. Danny Van Ruyen is really making their mark on this race.
Jacobus, wait, I don't think that's the fastest way around Killarney International Raceway. The adrenaline is pumping as Taihan Van Ruyen gets within striking distance of Richard Reshka in their race for 3rd.
A misjudgment by either driver could result in a close encounter of the tire barrier kind, and that's one handshake they'll want to avoid.
This is where legends are made. Which driver will rise to the occasion and claim victory?
At this rate, Richard Reshka and Taihan Van Ruyen are so close, they could share a cup of tea and a biscuit.
An impressive showing from Richard Reschke, who has gained positions and left Taihan van Ruyen in the dust.
Yes, but they have to keep pushing hard. This race is far from over, and anything can happen. Richard Reschke needs to stay focused and keep driving with skill and determination.
Heartbreak for Richard Reschke, as they slip down the field.
Yes, but there's still plenty of race left. Richard Reschke needs to stay calm and focused, and make their move when the time is right.
This is a thrilling battle as JP Brand edges closer to Richard Reschke in their fight for P4. It's a game of inches now as Jacobus Besson tails Peter Geldenhuis closely, ready to capitalize on any mistake. This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. Ian Killian is chasing Jacobus Besson in P9. This is what high-octane racing looks like. Taihan van Ruyen is breathing down the neck of Richard Reschke, not giving them any room to relax. As they speed through Malmesbury Strait, JP Brand is relentlessly pursuing Taihan van Ruyen in a high-stakes battle for position.
And the drivers know it too, John. They're giving it everything they've got, and you can see them pushing the limits of the car's capabilities.
We got a close battle as Danny van Ruyen closes in on Wayne Midden.
If things go wrong between Danny van Ruyen and Wayne Midden, they could be exchanging more than just paint, like maybe a strongly worded post-race chat.
Jacobus Besson is looking for an opportunity to get round Peter Geldenhuis. Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled as they push for every last bit of speed. Jacobus Besson wants to close that gap with Peter Geldenhuis. Taihan van Ruyen is holding fourth, but JP Brand is right on their tail. JP Brand wants to get into Taihan van Ruyen's slipstream.
To achieve anything in this game, you must be prepared to dabble in the boundary of disaster.
It's a battle of wills out there, each driver trying to outsmart and outmaneuver the other. Ernest Heather is on fire in the last sector. What a win! This is a historic moment for Ernest Heather, who put on a masterclass in driving today. What a display of skill and precision.
You could feel the tension building throughout the race, but Ernest Heather remained focused and in control. That's what separates the winners from the pack.
Impressive second-place finish for Warren Dodd.
Brilliant. Warren Dodd showed great skill and determination to take second place.
What a race from Taihan van Ruyen. They kept their cool and secured a well-earned third place on the podium.
Fantastic result.
Finishing 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th is Richard Reschke, JP Brand, Danny van Ruyen, and Wayne Midden. With Jacobus Besson, Peter Geldenhuis, Ian Killian, and Jeevan Davis in 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th. Followed by Ernest Besson in 12th. Rian Barkhuizen claimed 13th.